Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're here for this edition of Orion Outreach. I'm Penny Shults and we have very special guests with us today, Marc and Sharri with the Lake Orion Sunrise Rotary Club. They have some great things to tell you about an upcoming event that you won't want to miss. Welcome, we're so glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This is fantastic that you were able to come into the studio today. You want to tell us about an event that's coming up. Marc, give us some information about what the Rotary does and why you're holding this event.
So Rotary Club is a nationwide, as a worldwide organization with over 33,000 clubs and over 1.3 million members. It's a service organization. It's also a business networking organization. Our local club comprises of basically the Lake Orion proper area. Our district has 44 clubs in Southeast Michigan, all the way back from Ann Arbor all the way to London, Ontario. But our club has dedicated itself to service projects in the Lake Orion area. And for years and years and years, for decades, we've been doing that. And we had an outreach by Rotary International, the organization that kind of charters us, to start an international program. And so we started a fundraiser 9 years ago, and this will be our 9th year this year, to host a seafood boil. I'm from New Orleans, I'm Cajun from Southwest Louisiana, so we decided to bring a little bit of Louisiana up here to Lake Orion and bring a seafood boil to attract people, and it has been growing and growing and growing every year, to raise money for a children's hospital in Cartagena, Colombia.
How did you come about with this fundraiser? What prompted you to do this? My
wife, Monica Navarro, who's a lawyer here in Lake Orion, works for a corporation out of Germany. We were in Cartagena, Colombia, driving through the town, and her cousin was driving us around, and we saw a building that was pastel colored and beautiful but old and dilapidated, and I asked what was that, and her cousin said in Spanish, Casa del Niño, which is the house of the kids, and I said, what is that? And he said, well, it's a children's hospital. And so I looked it up, and it turns out it was actually founded by Rotary.
Beautiful.
In 1947, and the club down there supports that hospital almost exclusively, and so we reached out to the club and said, how can we help? Because Rotary International was looking for us to start doing more international work. We had no project internationally. And so I said, why don't we throw a fundraiser? And then 1 turned to 2, 2 turned to 3, and now we're in our 9th year. And after the first 6 years, we raised enough money, about $250,000, with their club and with Rotary International partnering with us, to build them a laparoscopic operating room, which now does 50 to 60 cases a month, and which they did not have before. And they've done almost 4,000 procedures now in that laparoscopic operating room. So now we've pivoted to a cancer center, and now we're raising years 7 and 8, and now this year will be year 9. We're going to cut that grant off this year to build them about $100,000 cancer center to add on to their chemotherapy unit.
What an incredible opportunity to change the lives of kids in Colombia.
It is an indigent hospital. It is the only one for about 800 miles in the coast of Colombia. It is so important to the coast of Colombia and to that region of the South America that the only Ronald McDonald House for about 1,000 miles is next door to this hospital. So it's a very special place.
That's beautiful. And then Sharri, what's your role in the boil? Tell us about that.
My role is to help out with all the food that Marc supplies. He gets a lot of his seafood down from New Orleans, and we get some local fish here. We do boil, we do catfish, we do crawfish Monica, we do a lot of food for kids, so if families want to bring their kids, it's very kid-friendly. I do my famous pecan, bacon, and bourbon bars.
Wow.
And I also make a key lime pie, and I do a peach cobbler.
That sounds wonderful.
And it brings a lot of people in,
I
which
love
is
it.
what we want.
And you told us that you had 1 pie, 1 key lime, 1 pecan when you started. How many do you usually end up with here for an event like this?
I do sheet pans of them. Now I started from a round wedge pie 2 trays of pies now. So I cut them into little bite-sized pieces, and we go through a lot of food. 'Cause
People
we have
look
a lot
forward
of
to
people
this.
come, yeah.
It's become an event in the community.
That's
It is, yeah.
fantastic. And so how can people find out about this community event?
So you can go to our Facebook page, Lake Orion Sunrise Rotary Club.
Okay.
You can also, we have a website as well too. We have skins on the wall out and throughout the community in downtown Lake Orion.
Flyers.
Flyers and stuff, and you'll start seeing signs out there. Chris Barnett will be having it on the billboards on I-75 pretty soon.
Nice.
To promote this. So, and the Orion Township website also will have a link to it as well. So you can go there, even if you don't want to come. We welcome donations, so we have a QR code. So if you want to buy tickets, great. If you just want to make a donation and just put a memo line in, this is a donation, that's fine. It's all tax deductible. We're a 501c3 with the IRS. And it's at our house, which is across the street from Indianwood Country Club on the corner of Cayuga and Indianwood.
What about parking?
So actually, which is really good, is that we have plenty of parking down the streets.
Okay.
And we're going to have the yard tented. We're going to have 2 bands that will be playing that day. Sean Blackman and his band, they play at Silver Spoon on every Wednesday night for the last 20 plus years. They graciously volunteer to come and play. We'll have another band playing that afternoon as well too. And so it's going to be a community event. We have a pool. Bring your kids, throw them in the pool. We'll have kid-friendly food, and for even people who don't like seafood, we will have meats and chicken dishes as well too.
So
it'll
exciting.
be.
How much does it cost per person?
It's $45 for adults
Great
and $25
price.
for kids. That includes food, drinks, and all the entertainment. And we'll do. And we also have a very, very, very significant silent auction that raises a lot of money. So we have a lot of corporate donors who are donating a lot of items that it raises significant amounts of money for us, and that's a special part to see the bidding wars go on when the silent auction starts getting close to the end.
So if someone wants to donate to this, an item for the silent auction, how should they go about doing that?
They can also reach out to Jimmy Johnson, our immediate past president. Mike Haas is the president at Lake Orion High School, is our current president, but they can reach out through the website. And that link, they will have an email address where they can donate items, get some exposure for their businesses, and we're always taking silent auction items up until the day of. So
how exciting. So this is not your only fundraiser. You do something to help internationally, but you also focus on local efforts as well. Tell us about what you do in that regard.
So we have 2 big fundraisers per year, and they're spaced about 6 months apart. So first Saturday in February every year is our ice golf tournament in downtown Lake Orion, which usually coincides with all the ice sculptures and all that stuff. And we play an 18-hole through the businesses golf tournament through downtown Lake Orion. And that supports our domestic fundraising projects, which is our Beds for Kids projects, Greens Park, which we've done a lot of handicapped equipment out there, Pine Trail Elementary, the Pollination Park on Palayan Trail. We just adopted a new park up in Oxford. And just community events that we feel are worthy of or need of it. But the Beds for Kids is probably one of our big ones, which is families who can't afford, we think it's kind of an anomaly here in Lake Orion, but families who can't afford to buy their kids beds.
It happens.
And so we have NGOs who identify families that are in need. We buy the beds, the frames, the linens, and everything, and we go out and assemble them and deploy them to the families here in the community. So
Thank you for doing that.
It's a labor of love. So,
Sharri, when do you meet? When do you have meetings with the Rotary Club?
Our meetings are every Thursday morning, starting at 7:30, goes till about 8:30 at the Lake Orion United Methodist Church downtown. It's every Thursday. The third Thursday of the month is usually a board meeting, so that's a go out and serve the community on your own time, which we all do. And we're a very close group, and we are very passionate about our downtown and our things that we do.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So much rich history there.
Yeah, it is.
And you're impacting so many people.
Yeah, we are, and we love it.
That's beautiful.
Enjoy it.
People want to get involved. I know when they hear about what you're doing, they want to be a part of this. What would you recommend that they do to become a Rotary member or to make contributions to your efforts?
I think the simplest thing is to come to one of our meetings, see how it works. We have a lot of people who try out the club, and more than 90% end up joining. And it's early enough in the morning that it's not going to interfere with your workday. We used to have it at the old CJ's restaurant next door to our office, and then we moved to the church, but it's just down the street. But come and try it out and see if you like it. And I think you'll realize that, as her shirt says, passion in action. That's one of our mottos.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And that once you realize that you're doing something greater for the community, and you get a chance to network your businesses with other businesses. So we have people who are in the stock business, who lawyers. I'm a lawyer. She's a pastry chef and just extraordinaire. And we have people who are in all walks of life, and it's a great organization.
It sounds wonderful. And you're very passionate about what you do.
We are.
And you want to engage the community. How can businesses help you? You're asking for sponsors for this?
We are. The quicker we can get to our grant, and then we're going to be moving on to our next phase in this project. Once we close out this grant this year for the Cancer Center, the next phase, really, the dream is that we have teams of doctors who actually want to go down and operate and do procedures at this hospital in Columbia. And that's going to require a lot more money and a lot more logistics. But we've really had a great turnout from the community in supporting this, and we're getting donations or unannounced, are just showing up in the mailbox, and people who are finding out about this thing. And so it's just something that, grab onto it. I always tell people with global grants, with these grants that we do, is that you don't just raise money for them. You have to touch it. You got to feel it. You got to fall in love with it. And we've been down there to the hospital in Columbia, and we got a chance to tour the hospital, to tour the cancer facilities, and tour the new construction. And I go down there 3 or 4 times a year and get to meet with the board of the hospital. What do they want? What do they need? And it's just it's a special project, and this is going to be our perpetual international project going forward.
People can sponsor this annually if they
Absolutely.
want to.
The bigger the better. I've got a big
that.
yard I can take if it's at my house, and I'll just get a bigger tent. So
That's fantastic. Marc, can you tell us the direct impact that these donations and this effort, this fundraising effort, have had on the Columbians as well as the surrounding area?
Sure. So this hospital is a regional hospital, and we've had a big influx over the last many years, 6, 7 years, with the economy failing in Venezuela. Men are sending women and children down the coast of Colombia, with the hopes that eventually they would work their way through Colombia, through Panama, up towards the United States, in a migration pattern which is very treacherous. But they're stopping along the way, and it is flooding the hospital with kids. And so when we started the project 9 years ago now, the hospital, inpatient and outpatient, was seeing about 80,000 kids per year, both inpatient and outpatient. Last year, the data point was around 142,000 kids per year, and that does not work with the population growth. It's just purely the migration pattern that's going down there. This operating room has done over 3,000 procedures since it's opened in November of 2021. They're working 7 days a week, 40 to 50 cases a month. But one of the most important data points that we've seen is, despite the rise in the number of people that are coming through the hospital, is that their mortality rate during the pandemic and pre-pandemic was running about 4 to 5% per year, which in many instances would be alarming. But since this operating room is opened, and since these advanced levels of care have been implemented, their mortality rate, as of last year when I went and visited with the board, has dropped to 0.15%, which is, despite the increase in the number of people coming in, is a 99% drop in their morbidity and mortality rate. So this is a tremendous service to the hospital, it's a tremendous service to the community, tremendous service to the families.
Yes.
To get these kids out quicker because of laparoscopic procedures, less infections, less morbidity, less mortality, and get them home to their families. And it's just it's a blessing that we were able to do this.
Thank you so much for sharing that. People need to know how you're impacting this nation greatly. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Anything that we haven't discussed that you want to touch on?
I just think that I think that there's a lot of things going on during summer, people's vacations and whatnot, and so even if you can't come, sponsor it. Even if you can't come, donate, and we'll recognize you, and you get to be part of the success of what this grant is going to go to, which is to really expand by 50% a cancer center down there for kids who need it.
Thank you, Marc. You mentioned that Sharri toured. Sharri, what was the one or two things that impacted you the most as you went through the hospital?
I've been to Cartagena a couple times before we went, and going there, you go in and you don't realize how much work that we're doing to affect these people's lives. And it was very emotional. It was very fulfilling to see what our work was doing, and they had a presentation on the laparoscopic tower that we had helped purchase for the hospital, and they welcomed us in with open arms. They're very, very welcoming Rotary Club there. They took us to their actual club and had dinner for us. They made a paella.
Oh, wonderful.
For us.
About a 4 foot.
Yes.
It was really nice. I felt it made you feel really good. I mean, it's something that you wouldn't think twice about doing because you're affecting someone's life, and it's just, I don't know, I would not even, think twice about not doing it.
If we have time, I have a true,
Yes, we do.
A true story I'll tell you, is that when we went down there to deploy the laparoscopic operating room, so my wife is from Colombia. That's how we got started with this whole project. So Monica Navarro, we toured the hospital, the doctors were all there, the board of the directors of the hospital were all there. We did a big, huge presentation for this monstrous tower as big as this camera right here, which was about a $90,000 striker tower, one piece of equipment for the whole operating room, which is built in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And so we were all there, we're celebrating, we're all wearing hats that were printed. And one of our past president, Jenny Sproul, brought her 2 sons down, 11 and 13 years old around the time. And we had enough money left over to buy games and Game Boys and PlayStations and things for kids who were sitting in beds in cancer wards. And so the doctor toured us around the hospital, and we got to give these things out to the kids in the regular part of the hospital. But then when we got to the cancer center, the doctor's like, only one adult can go in with the boys. So my wife, who speaks Spanish, it's her first tongue, she goes in there with the boys, and she comes out maybe 10 minutes later. And we're touring the hospital, seeing the operating room that we paid help to raise money to build. And she comes out, and she's got tears in her eyes, and she comes out, and she just comes and gives me a big hug. And I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, there's a boy in there. He's wearing a hat, and he's laying in bed, and the kids are giving him games, and they're talking to each other, and they're seeing kids, his own age that are healthy, and he's just beaming. And I was like, what's wrong with that? And she goes, nothing, it's just his hat. And I was like, well, what do you mean his hat? She goes, his hat said, in Spanish, said, quiero a vivir, which means I want to live. Wow. And she came out bawling her eyes out. And that's how we touch lives, and that's what this project is about, is we touch lives. And so I want everybody in the community to think that, this is not just a fundraiser, we're actually helping real people and real families, and that's what this is all about.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm very pleased I got to meet with both of you today. I know people will come. I know it will touch their hearts, and I'm confident you'll raise more than what you expected, exceedingly above.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So if even people are out and about August 2nd between 12 and 4, and
just come on by.
Just stop in, even just to check it out. We'll let you in, look around, have something to eat.
Everyone knows that location too.
You will not run out of food.
Yeah.
We do not run out of food over there.
That's pretty exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sharri and Marc.
Thank you very much.
I really am glad both of you are here today, and I just see you definitely are a passion in action.
We are.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. You've been invited. You got a seat at the table. They want you to come. All the information you need is on their website. Please support this wonderful effort in Columbia, and please consider becoming a Rotary member. I'm Penny Shults. Thanks for joining us. at Orion Outreach.